So the Canadian Senate's Committee on Security and Defence has called for the Canadian government to, quote, investigate the options that are available for the training and certification of imams in Canada. An imam, of course, is a Muslim cleric, like a Catholic priest or a Jewish rabbi. Now, I get it. I understand what they're trying to do. There are extremist Muslim imams in Canada who are radicalizing young Muslims, turning them against Canadian society, and in extreme cases, weaponizing them, turning them into little terrorists. I mean, check out this guy.
This is a message to Canada and all the American Tawagheet. We are coming and we will destroy you.
It's not just Muslims who are being turned into terrorists. There have been a disturbing number of converts to Islam, that is, old stock Canadians, Christians or secular folks who convert to Islam and are turned into terrorists, like this guy.
You either pack your bags or you prepare your explosive devices. You either purchase your airline ticket or you sharpen your knife.
He's from Ontario. Or how about this couple from BC who were convicted of a bomb plot at the Victoria legislature? Obviously, that bomb plot did not go ahead. So I get it. Radical Muslim imams were obviously involved. These people did not convert themselves and decide on their own to become terrorists. They had helpers and malicious guides along the way. Now, some of those guides were surely via the internet or by Skype or something like that, but it's quite likely there were in-person radicals in Canada. We know that because we've shown you Canadian mosques and Canadian imams who say extremist things right here in Canada. Remember that big Wahhabi mosque in Montreal where Justin Trudeau says he's proud to campaign for votes, by the way? Here's an expose of their radical views done a few years ago by the CBC in Quebec. But that mosque has been plugging away ever since. Take a look.
Actuelle avec la crise au Proche-Orient. L'imam était très en colère et il appelait les gens à se mobiliser, à faire quelque chose, en leur disant arrêtez de considérer que votre religion se résume à venir chaque vendredi assister à ce prêche et faire votre prière. Il faut faire plus que ça. Le vœu qu'il a fait, à la fin de son prêche, il a dit Dieu tuait tous les ennemis de l'islam.
I mean, we've set up a whole website documenting these extremist imams at CanadianJihad.ca. Check out this Muslim imam from North York saying kill anyone who converts away from Islam.
If you're in a Muslim country and you insult Muhammad or Jesus, you will receive the same punishment. If a Christian does that in Saudi or in a Muslim country, he will get in trouble. But if he purposely do this, then it goes back to the ruler. It goes back to the ruler and the judge of that time. But it could also, be to the point as far as killing that person.
Here's another Muslim imam from Laval, Quebec, who also believes in killing anyone who converts away from Islam.
قالوا أما الثاني فقد حارب الله ورسوله وقد خرج إلى فئة باغية فليس جزاؤه القتل فقط ده جزاء حد الحرابة إنما جزاء الذين يحاربون الله ورسوله ويسعون في الأرض فسادا أن يقتلوا أو يصلبوا أو تقطع أيديهم وأرجلهم من خلاف.
Or this imam from Edmonton calling for the establishment of an Islamic state.
ثم تكون خلافة راشدة على منهاج النبوة إنما نستقبلها.
Oh, there's plenty more. Visit CanadianJihad.ca if you want to see more. So a few things. First of all, the problem is very real. We see terrorists coming from Canada to commit terrorism around the world, or trying to here in Canada. And we see Muslim imams preaching extremism in Canadian mosques. I just showed you a few examples. And not only do most politicians not even want to talk about it, like Justin Trudeau, they actually love it and campaign in those mosques for votes. Second of all, certifying imams, certifying the clergy is a terrible idea. We don't believe in governments getting into the religion business in Canada and choosing who and who can't be a religious leader. And knowing how government works, of course, any government certification would quickly be taken over by Muslim radicals. I mean, our legal system has turned a terrorist named Omar Khadr into a folk hero. Do you really think the same government would actually protect us from Muslim extremists? I think the real answer here is obvious, but it takes courage. First of all, we need to keep foreign government money out of Canadian mosques. Saudi Arabia, a Sharia dictatorship, pumps millions of dollars into Canadian mosques and schools to make them follow the hardline Islamic point of view, radical Islam, political Islam, anti-Western Islam. The Saudis don't pour millions into Canada out of the goodness of their hearts. It's to promote the Saudi point of view and Saudi interests here. That's contrary to Canadian interests. That's got to be cut off. Do you really think Saudi Arabia would let us pour millions of dollars into Christian or Jewish schools in their country? Hey, remember that Muslim high school in Toronto that refused to play against a soccer team because it had a girl on it, that sexist Muslim team? They get money from the Saudi government. Yeah, that's got to stop. But secondly, we need to screen our immigrants better, starting with religious leaders. But anyone, I mean, if you're going to come to Canada from a terrorist-infested country, from a place where radical Islam is pernicious, we need to stop you before you even get here, not to try to certify you after you're already over here. We already test for cultural suitability from immigrants. Do you have skills to get a job here? Do you speak English or French? Are you healthy, etc.? We need to ask other suitability questions. Do you believe in democracy? Do you believe in secular law? In the equality of people who aren't Muslim? Do you believe in the equality of men and women? Do you believe in the separation of mosque and state? We need to ask those questions before people immigrate here, not after. And unlike a government agency approving Canadian Imams, screening out foreign bad apples is actually constitutional. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.